One's ready. One's ready. Go!
Team!
Ready!
Exercise! 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2.
I'm too locked in, I've been on a run like God. When these critics wanna hate, I'm a certified problem. Blood, sweat, tears, that's 24 hours. Respect on my name, I don't trust you cowards. Independent winner, but I count my blessings. I don't know about second, think I learned my lesson. Don't test them, let me go put it on record. I'm in the top 5 of the top 5 network. Way back when, they ain't believing me. This took years, you know I ain't do it recently. Tell me what they see in me, feeling like a deity. Ain't nobody better now, I got them all fearing me. Ain't nobody better when I'm done and that's period. On my point like a pyramid, can the rule this is tyranny. One shot here left, I'm gonna take. Look, I made it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. You're in the team room. This is your daily drop for the 15th of April, brought to you by Tasty Gains. If you are in the market for some quality creatine gummies, some quality pre-workout gummies, or you're just trying to get in on some nootropics rather, then you want to go check out tastygains.com. There's no promo code. Just go over there, buy it all up, enjoy it, get swole as hell. All right. Now, on to, the daily drop. And I did get a question about this, or I saw a comment or something like that. It's like, hey, where's all this data coming from? These are all public affairs or PAs or PAOs, public affair offices. It's kind of, I take all of their stuff and then I kind of throw it together and then just give you the gist. It's not extremely detailed because, these are full-on articles that are being written. So, hey, you want to read it, just go look it up. I'm just trying to give you the wave tops. And then if I have any inside data or opinion on it, or, hey, this is kind of the way it works, then I will provide it. But a lot of times I don't know jack or shit. And so you get what you get. But, all right, kicking things off with the Army. Army cadets recall fallen officers' actions in Old Dominion University shooting. Army Reserve Officer Training Corps cadets at Old Dominion University credited Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw, their senior instructor, killed in the attack with training that enabled them to respond effectively and survive. The cadets highlighted his mentorship in preparing them to defend themselves and others during these incident. The event underscored the importance of leadership and readiness in training. And man, it's terrible that Colonel Shaw, I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. It's S-H-A-H, Shaw, passed and that kind of stuff. And it's also fantastic that he was able to mentor and train and develop these cadets to do what they did. These cadets are these cadets and the colonel are the type of people that we are looking for and the type of people that we want in our formations. All right, next. Airborne Corps, what is that? The 18th Airborne Corps, sorry. Soldiers sorry, Vegas has got some wicked allergies that, makes other people sneeze, makes other people's eyes. For me, it makes me cough. But anyway, 18th Airborne Corps soldiers train with anti-drone ammunition. Soldiers from the United States Army's 18th Airborne Corps fire specialized anti-drone rounds to engage and destroy first-person view unmanned aerial systems during training exercises. The drills familiarized troops with ammunition designed specifically to counter small unmanned aircraft threats. This reflects the Army's increasing focus on counter unmanned aerial system capabilities. I wonder what that looks like. May have to check that out after this. 75th Ranger Regiment wins its 6th consecutive Best Ranger competition. A two-man team from the United States Army's 75th Ranger Regiment won the annual Best Ranger competition, marking the unit's 6th straight victory in the demanding 3-day event. The competition tests physical endurance, marksmanship, and tactical skills under extreme conditions. Ranger teams have dominated the event in recent years. Obviously, they've won it 6 times. I can tell you from working with some of the people that train for Best Ranger, like it's 6 months that they are off the job, kind of just focus on training, not actually doing their job, what, the Army, Air Force, whatever pays them for. These dudes basically go off the clock and train their asses off for this event, because it's very prestigious. I mean, it's, if you haven't seen it, and actually, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the thumbnail of the best Ranger winners holding up their pistols. That's what I'm going to use as a thumbnail. All right, on to the Navy. Navy MQ-4 Charlie Triton surveillance drone crash confirmed. The Navy confirmed the loss of an MQ-4C Triton high altitude, long endurance unmanned aerial vehicle on the 9th of April in the Persian Gulf region. The drone was conducting a surveillance mission when the mishap occurred. The exact circumstances remain under investigation and have been classified as a mishap. This represents the first acknowledged Triton loss in recent operations. Man, I don't know what that MQ-4 looks like. Obviously, I know what an MQ-1 and MQ-9 look like, but I'll have to check that out as well. There's a lot of shit I don't know. What do you know? All right, Marine Corps. Marine snipers win international sniper competition. Shocking, right? 2 United States Marine Corps snipers took first place at the annual International Sniper Competition, a rare top honor for the service. The event evaluates precision shooting, stalking, and observation skills under realistic conditions. The victory highlights Marine Corps sniper proficiency. Before we get into the Air Force, you guys know Nashville's coming up, Nashville Operator Training Summit. We've only got about 4 slots left, okay? So you might want to get on it. And if you show up to the website and it's not there anymore, it's because we're out of slots. But never fear, email me, and maybe I can put you on a standby list, because there are times where somebody has an emergency, like a family emergency, and they're not able to make it, or something happens. So you definitely don't want to miss this. We've got Taylor Starks, the mad scientist, going to absolutely crush your hips and keep your hips as a trophy, like out of Predator. I mean, just think about Predator's trophy case. Your hips are going to be in that, because he's going to destroy you. You guys can register for that at operatortrainingsummit.com. All right, now on to the Air Force. The National Guard leaders urge Congress to fund 72 to 100 new fighters annually. The National Guard General from nearly 2 dozen. The National Guard General? Anyway, the National Guard from nearly 2 dozen states signed a letter to Congress requesting multi-year funding for the United States Air Force to purchase 72 and 100 new fighter jets per year. The request aims to modernize the total force, including active, guard, and reserve components, with platforms such as the F-35, the F-22, the F-15EX, and the F-47. Leaders warn that current procurement rates leave the force oldest, smallest, and least ready in history. 100% agree. However, it doesn't need to be just fighters. Like, our bombers are old. Now, granted, we got the B-21 coming out, and that thing's a freaking badass, but and the B-2 is obviously badass, but these are still aging fleets, and it's going to be a little while till we get the B-21. It's also going to be a little while till we get the F-47. But look at our tankers. Look at our cargo ships. Like, look at our ICBMs. Like, it's crazy. We have the bureaucracy of this crap is unbelievable. So anyway, next, Air Force Academy names new Commandant of Cadets. The United States Air Force Academy selected a new Commandant of Cadets amid an ongoing senior leadership transition. Yeah, they fired the shit out of all those people. Bye-bye, Tony. Fat mofo. The appointment continues efforts to stabilize leadership following the impending retirement of their superintendent. It supports continued focus on cadet development and academy operations. We'll see what happens. I've heard good news on the new leadership of the academy. I'm hoping it's true and comes true, because like it's the people and the leaders that they need at the academy to make that place great again. All right. Last little bit of news, at least for the Air Force, is I met Jared Isaacman yesterday. That dude is a total badass. He came and gave a lecture, an hour and a half lecture out of his own time. Like, I can't believe that the NASA administrator took time out of his day to fly to Las Vegas to meet with us for 90 minutes and then took off. It was fantastic. The guy's an absolute stud and really appreciate it. So if he happens to ever listen to this, because, he's an avid fan of One's Ready, thanks for doing that. We appreciate your time and look forward to having you again. All right, on to the Space Force. STARCOM launches hiring surge for more than 400 civilian positions. The United States Space Force Space Training and Readiness Command, STARCOM, announced plans to fill more than 400 civilian positions across its hubs nationwide. The surge supports the command's roles in accessions, training, testing, wargaming, and education. It aligns with the broader efforts to expand the Space Force workforce. We've talked about in the past, Space Force essentially wants to double in size, but it takes time. And honestly, I'm okay with it. But at the same time, you guys have got to right size your ship between your officers and your enlisted and your civilians and your contractors, because it's kind of messy right now. Next, Space Force urges industry to invest in satellite production capacity. The United States Space Force is preparing for substantial growth in its fiscal year 2027 procurement budget and is encouraging industry partners to invest now in facilities and production capacity. The head of the Space Systems Command emphasized readiness to execute expanded programs. This push supports accelerated delivery of space capabilities. Moving on to the Coast Guard. The United Coast Guard heavy icebreaker returns from Antarctica deployment. The Coast Guard's only heavy icebreaker completed a more than 4-month deployment to Antarctica and returned to home port. The vessel cleared channels and provided logistics support for scientific stations during the 23,000-mile mission. It demonstrates the service's polar operation reach. Dude, that's crazy. That we only have one heavy icebreaker, but 2, that it's a 4-month deployment and they went all around. So my question is, what happens if and when the heavy icebreaker gets stuck? Is there a double heavy icebreaker that can come in and save it? Or, because if we only got one of these things, what are we doing? All right, next, President of the United States, President Trump states Iran war is very close to ending. President Donald Trump indicated that the United States-Iran war is very close to being over and suggested peace talks could resume soon, potentially in Islamabad. The comments followed the ongoing naval blockade and fragile ceasefire. Trump maintained pressure while expressing optimism for a resolution. All right, operational stuff. United States blockade halts ships traffic to Iranian ports. United States CENTCOM reported that no ships entered or exited Iran's ports during the first 24 hours of the naval blockade, supported by more than 10,000 troops and over a dozen warships, plus significant air assets. The operation enforces restrictions on Iranian-linked vessels while preserving freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. Over 100 aircraft provide surveillance and protection. All right, last but not least, Pentagon awards contract for AI support to military pilots. The United States Special Operations Command awarded a $50 million contract to Beacon AI to expand artificial intelligence capabilities for military pilots. The initiative provides enhanced decision support tools during aviation operation, and it forms a part of a broader Department of the Defense efforts to integrate artificial intelligence across warfighting functions. And you ask yourself, why the hell is SOCOM funding pilots? Well, SOCOM has pilots, thanks to the Air Force and the Army. Not so much the Navy, but the Air Force and Army for sure. And that's how you scale things. That's what SOCOM's really good at. They develop something or they build something at a lower cost, and then they scale it to the services. So this is pretty normal. But anyway, appreciate you guys being here. Sorry I'm getting this out a little late, and sorry I missed you yesterday. It's just got crazy with Jared Isaacman. So just a slight flex. Anyway, don't forget operatortrainingsummit.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you later. See you!